Brothers and sisters, it's about 5 days. We are on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 5 days from our summit, the anti-religion regulation summit. We are also anti-peer review. And people have asked me questions, and that's what necessitated this recording. People are saying, okay, fine, we can understand you saying we should be against regulation. Don't worry about the cuts. It's my first time in Soweto in a long time. So they're saying, fine, we can understand you saying we should oppose regulation of religion. But how do you begin to say we must oppose self-regulation? Now, I've got news for you. Self-regulation and peer review are regulation. We shall be making a thorough presentation on the 21st, but for now, we will attach, as part of this recording in the comments, we'll attach the so-called self-regulation peer review structure suggested by Togo Taluva from the Cellular Commission and endorsed by Ray Mekodi and Musasono. And you shall see there that you cannot believe in peer review as they present it. You can never believe in self-regulation as they suggest it without believing in the interfaith. Their structure has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. They call us practitioners. We are not practitioners. The irony with that definition is Togo Taluva told witch doctors, sangomas, traditional healers, last year, September, we shall also attach that in one of the comments, that government cannot regulate traditional healing because traditional healing is not a profession by a calling. And in the same breath, she comes and she says, preachers must be regulated because preaching is a profession. Now, when you look at what makes a preacher, you don't have to go far. Our only book is the Bible. Christ comes into the lives of the disciples, Peter, James, John, and all other people. He finds them working. And he says, leave what you're doing and follow me, and I shall make you fishers of men. We call that a calling. The same way we hear that some celebrity has been called by ancestors, the same way God calls us. And what qualifies us? No, God's approval qualifies us. The same way the ancestors qualify the witch doctors or sangomas or traditional leaders. And later on, the Bible tells us long after Jesus has died and has gone to heaven and he has poured his spirit in the book of Acts chapter 4, they begin to apprehend the disciples and they will not allow them to preach in the name of Jesus. And the Bible says that when they interviewed Peter and company, it says, and they realized that they had not been to any of their theological schools, they came to the conclusion that these people have been with Jesus. And the point I'm trying to make is, it's Jesus who calls us, it's Jesus who qualifies. It's a very subjective process. But anybody who understands Busangoma will never struggle to understand what he's saying. Only that they say they are called by the ancestors, and we say we are called by God. But what makes religion different from traditional leadership, traditional healers, is they regulated their practice because they claim to be practitioners. They can give you sick notes to go to work and say, no, the Sangoma booked me off sick and the cause is I was cursed. But we are sharing our faith, you see. Religion is in that space where my faith, my philosophy is not a practice, but it's a calling of God. So when you look at the structures suggested by Togo Taluva, Ray Mekodi, and Musasono that they were pushing for adoption at Rema, it is the so-called practitioner. That means those called by the Lord at the beginning there. And above them it has different denominations. And above those denominations they have different regulatory bodies internal. That means they are saying a preacher of the Catholic Church is submitted to the Catholic Church, and there's a Catholic synod. in the same way, I suppose the Rastafarian and the Hindu and the Muslim and all that. And they are saying all these three structures will report to the peer review structure, and that's where the problem comes in, because the peer review structure, according to their suggestion, is an interfaith committee. That means the committee where a Rastafarian, a Scientologist, a Mormon, a Muslim, a Christian, a Baha'ist, an atheist sit together and they decide if we should be licensed or not. And above them, the Civil Rights Commission will veto that decision. So basically, their so-called self-regulation is government regulation. And the joke is, they are telling people we are mad. Let me tell you what is saying with what we say. They are saying we are mad by insisting that they have nothing to do with our religion, when, as we speak, religious freedom is enshrined in the Constitution. According to the Constitution, that section is sent out to you yesterday, 35. So it says we have a right to practice our religion in whichever way we find fit, if we're not breaking the law and if the association is voluntary. But two, the Civil Rights Commission, according to the Civil Rights Act, was not set up to control religion, but to protect the rights of every South African in terms of culture, religion, and language. Now, they are saying we are mad when what we are suggesting is implementable within the present legal framework. What we are saying, lay hands of religion, is supported by the Constitution. What we are saying, lay hands of religion, is supported by the Civil Rights Act. Everything we are saying is supported by the present legal framework. But what they are suggesting will need us, first of all, to revisit the mandate of the Civil Rights Commission. So, Togo Xaluva and company were appointed by virtue of the Constitution, and the Section 9 institution was set up for that purpose. And they are saying, for us to do what you told us to do, you have to change our mandate. They're crazy. So I am saying, I wanted to clarify the fact that for you to believe in self-regulation, you must first believe in the interfaith. Because Remi Ekoli, Mosasona, and Xaluva structures, they have a committee. That means basically an interfaith committee is going to be involved, is going to be in control of all religions. Now, you know where this is leading. This is leading to the one world religion. We know it's an international, a UN endorsed New World Order system, philosophy, that to manage all religions, make them into one. We see the Pope right now touring Islamic countries. We know that there's a new logo, the Chrislam logo, and we know that the two most predominant religions in the world are Christianity and Islam, and everybody else will come around them. If you are saying to us, you believe that all religions lead to God, you believe that all religions are okay, fine, then you have a reason to believe and endorse the peer review structure. But if you say, no, leave my religion alone, you cannot subscribe to that. We cannot have a situation, you see, according to the Bible, in the book of Ephesians, for it's Christ who calls people. And he appoints them to be apostles, prophets, evangelists, teachers, and pastors. But no, the Civil Rights Commission, Remi Ekoli Mosasona, says, no. We should take that responsibility from Christ and give it to the interfaith movement. Let me say that again. According to the book of Ephesians 4, Christ sets in the church apostles, prophets, evangelists, teachers, and pastors. But Mosasona, Remi Ekoli, and Togo Xaluva say, no. Henceforth, let Jesus hand over that process to the interfaith movement. Let them decide who's apostle, who's prophet, who's evangelist, who's teacher, who's pastor. Now, my last observation is qualifications. Now, they are saying to us, they are going to have to be degreed ministers. Now, if we're talking religion, that means you can never say to the Christian preacher, for you to stand in the park and share your faith, you need to have a theological degree, without saying to the Rastafarian, for you to take your Zol and meet with 15 Rastafarians on the mountains, you also need a theology degree. Without saying to the witch doctor, no, it's not enough that you go under the sea to be inaugurated by marine spirits, we will need to have a degree. You will have to say to the imam, no, you can't be in charge of that mosque unless you have a theological degree. It's confusing. It's a pipe dream. It could never be achieved in a constitutional democracy. Look at what is happening in China now. And the reason I'm telling you about China is South Africa, Brazil, India, and China, they fall BRICS. They fall within BRICS. Now, Russia, India, and China have already started clamping down on Christianity. And only South Africa and Brazil are lagging. It does not look like Brazil is going to follow, because Brazil is in Latin America, and Latin America is predominantly Catholic. So that leaves us South Africa. That means for us to fit into the culture of BRICS, we also have to be seen to be clamping down on the church. Except that we are a constitutional democracy, which Russia and China are not. And at this stage, even as we speak, China has so taken control of religion that we may not even chat God on Facebook. They've taken hold of the internet there. They are monitoring every religious conversation has come under the scrutiny of government. If you and I don't fight this in our lifetime, that's where we are going. Hands off our religion, we say. We say no to the regulation of religion. We say no to peer review. We say no to self-regulation. We say leave the church as is. There is nothing wrong with religion. Leave it as is. We woke up 2 days ago to one of the ugliest scenes ever, the massacre in New Zealand. And we are not threatening. I'm not a violent man. I am saying that's the ugly side of religion. Where this is going, we are at the grassroots. We are not in ivory towers like Graham Ekuru and his company. The church is seething. We've had slight eruptions of that. The Modise clan within itself cannot resolve its issues without violence. When the founder died, they went to the courts. They did not get a favorable response from the courts. They started killing each other in their church services. The same thing with Shembe. Religion is ugly. Tongo Taluva and his Civil Rights Commission, with the endorsement of Remi Kolomosason, could inadvertently trigger a religious war. There is no way we are going to let other people from other religions determine how we practice our faith. There is no way. We can hardly agree within our groups. Look at how controlled the International Pentecostal Church is. They believe the same God, the same rituals, they wear the same uniforms, but every time they have to decide on a leader, there's violence and there's litigation. The same thing with Shembe. The same thing with all other religions. These guys could inadvertently trigger a religious war in South Africa that we'll all live to regret. Hands off our religion. There's nothing wrong with religion. There are sporadic reportings of criminal activity which we are able to deal with within the present legal framework. Leave it at that. Politicians rape, witch doctors rape, preachers rape, gangsters rape, atheists rape. It's an ugly scourge. Deal with them through the courts. Don't religionize crime. There is no religious robbery and atheist robbery and Muslim. No, don't religionize crime. Deal with crime on its own merit and stop labeling people. We refuse to be regulated. We are giving this warning. We're going to fight regulation. We're going to fight peer review. You can never take away from us the right to belong to our own groups. It's a constitutional right. And anybody who shall approach the Constitutional Court for an amendment of that right, we will fight them. If they invoke it, we will resist. Our religion was born in blood. The saints and the Lord gave their lives. We are prepared to do that. You have no merit, no basis, no justification to tamper with religion. Leave us as is. We're meeting on the 21st of March. And the time is 11 to 2 o'clock. It's a very short meeting at number 23, Buchenhold Street, in General Albert's Park, Albertine. The ministry is one-on-one. And keep glued to the wall now. It's 5 days to go. If you have not RSVP'd, please do so. May the Lord greatly bless and keep you. Bye.